Hi everybody, it's me, Tommy Bob. Welcome to the Tommy Bob and Brian Show. And today we're not fixing springy doors, or we're not teaching you how to keep your hubcaps on, or we're not teaching you how to keep squirrels off your bird feeder. Today we're going to teach you how to make an Italian dinner with Caesar salad, garlic bread, spaghetti, and meat sauce. And to help me today with this is my assistant, Pepe LeBrian. Come on in here, Pepe LeBrian. The reason I call him Pepe LeBrian is because we had another hat on. Pepe here, he decided he didn't like that hat so much, so he decided to get himself some new duds for this, particularly for this show. So my assistant Brian here is going to help me with this. Okay, now we're going to start off with the ingredients. Today, in order to make your spaghetti, now it depends on who you're making it for. Today we're just making it for a small group, so we're just going to use a small package of fresh ground beef. We're also going to cheat a little bit, okay? Cheating, if I had all the time in the world, I'd boil down my tomatoes and everything, and I'd make a real nice tomato sauce. So all you spaghetti aficionados out there, don't hate on me. This is a quick way to make spaghetti sauce. You can go to the store, buy any kind of canned tomato sauce or jarred tomato sauce, it doesn't matter. You add that, you take that, and you add that to a saucepan, depending on how much you're going to make. If you're going to make enough for 4 or 5 people, well then you want to take a couple of jars of this. All right.
So that is good for 2 people?
That would be good for 2 people. If you took a jar of this with everything else we're going to add into this. Now what we're going to do with this ground beef.
Now I noticed that the ground beef that you got, it's extra lean.
It's extra lean. You don't want any of that fat. All you health people out there, you want to keep nice and healthy. And you want to keep your spaghetti nice and healthy. Now you're going to take this beef and you're going to put it in the frying pan. And in case all of you are wondering, Tommy Bob, yes, has washed his hands thoroughly. Brian, could you pick up that screen and give it a little rinse, please? Because we don't want that.
No, that's true.
We don't want that happen. Okay, so you just want to break up your beef a little bit in the pan. Brian, could you make sure you get that turned on to, like I say, a medium heat so that it'll brown up really nicely?
Yeah.
And okay. Now, this is going to splatter. If you don't want your woman to hate on you for the rest of your life, you're going to put a screen on this because you don't want to get grease all over a freshly clean stove.
No.
So we're just going to put a screen over there and let that beef cook. We're going to let that beef brown till it's browned on both sides. We're going to drain the grease off. We'll show you when we drain the grease off how we do that, just so that you know.
When you say brown on both sides, how does it get brown on both sides?
Well, we stir it around a little bit.
Stir it around? Okay.
Sure. Well, that's what we'll do. Okay.
Now tell me, Bob, I hope you don't mind if I ask questions.
No,
because I have not done this before. This is all new to me.
And this is what we're going to teach you. Okay, so now we're going to take that ordinary sauce and we're going to put some rosemary, we're going to put some thyme, we're going to put some salt, we're going to put some pepper. We're going to maybe put a little bit of hot stuff in it. We'll see. We're going to take an onion. We're going to prep up this onion. In order to prep up this onion, first of all, let me get rid of this. This is for something else. In order to prep up this onion, we're going to take the skin off it. That means the brown. So we're just going to chop it at both ends here. Now I always like to have a flat surface when I'm chopping. So I take the onion and I cut it in half. So that I've got half onion there now. Now it's flat, easy peasy to chop. Now I don't know about you, but Tommy Bob likes his spaghetti sauce a little on the chunky side. So
when you say chunky side, Tommy.
Well, we don't dice up the onions into like small little diced cubes. We keep them kind of chunky. Okay? So I'm going to let Brian take the other. Brian, first, could you wash up your hands there, Brian?
Yes.
Okay. I'll let Brian dice up this onion, just so that he knows next time how it's done. Okay?
Tom, I just might mention, Tommy Bob, that when I heard that I was going to come on this show with you, I went on the internet and I be honest with you, I kind of checked things out. And one of the things that I learned is that when you're chopping up this onion, if you breathe through your mouth and not your nose, your eyes won't water.
Excuse me, I'm crying already. Jeez, that would have been nice to know just about 4 seconds ago before my eyes started to tear up from this crazy old onion over here. All right, you can just come on over in here. I'll get everything else prepped up that we need to cut. Now, while Brian's prepping up that second part of that onion for that sauce, let's get rid of that first part. We'll put that right into the sauce already. Okay? Now, while he's cutting up the second half, we're going to use a pepper. I think normally I would use 2 peppers, but today we're only going to use 1 pepper because we're just making a small amount. It's all about the amount size. If you're making it for a large family, then you increase it. If we were making it for 4 people instead of 2 people, we'd use a couple of jars. We'd use maybe a whole onion and a half. We'd use a couple of peppers. And we also have some mushrooms here. We're going to put some mushrooms in this sauce as well. So, let's recap now. We've got our package of beef. It's browning on the stove on a medium heat. We've got a screen over there to keep the grease from dripping all over the place. We've got our sauce already poured into a saucepan. We've got some onions chopped up. Brian's chopping up the second part of the onions. We're going to add some salt, some pepper, some rosemary, some thyme, some garlic powder, some onions, some mushrooms, some peppers. We're going to add all of that to this sauce. We're going to turn it on and let it simmer for a while. I like to use the salt mill, and I like to use the bigger pieces of salt. It just seems to taste better. It's personal choice for salt, you know.
Now, I suppose too, Tommy Bob, it's a good thing to sharpen your knife.
Always use a sharp knife, but always keep your eye on what you're doing. You don't want to end up losing a finger.
Exactly.
So, okay, so once we have this sauce done, we'll start to prepare everything else that's going to go with the spaghetti. We also, don't forget, we're making spaghetti, so we do have spaghetti noodles. We just don't have them out here yet because that's going to be one of the last things that we prepare. Okay? All right, Brian's finished chopping up the onion. Now, those of you that don't cut peppers or don't know anything about it, could you please wash that for me? Make sure that you wash everything that you eat.
You need to put some soap on it?
You know, you can buy a special soap down in the produce department for washing up your vegetables. I think it's a good idea because of the pesticides they're using these days. It's all bad for you. So make sure you wash your vegetables really well before you prepare them. Okay, Brian, how do we do here?
Good.
Okay, so when Tommy Bob chops up a pepper, I just kind of half it down the middle, and then I split it like that. Comes out clean, no seeds on that part. I take my thumb, push it in there like that, pound that out, boom. No seeds, we're ready to go. Seed pods out.
So you didn't even have to cut this out?
Didn't really even have to cut it out. It just
cut it from the bottom up?
Just a quick slice.
Split it apart, pulled it apart,
thumb it out.
And then thumbed it out.
Right.
Okay.
So now we're going to do the same with the peppers. We're going to, you know, we're going to big chop them, I call it. You know, you don't want to dice it up so there's a little small thing and you don't even taste it in your sauce. You want it to be chunky.
About like this?
That's perfect.
Why so chunky?
Well, you know, when you cook everything, it breaks, it boils down.
Goes soggy.
So it boils down to smaller.
Right.
Right? So You know, this may look like a great big pile of peppers, but when you put it in the sauce and you boil it down.
Is this going in the sauce?
Yes, it is.
Do you mind if I put it in
there? You
there?
just put it right in there, Brian. It's going right in that sauce. So now we're getting close to having the sauce ready. And we're just going to let it boil and simmer and let the flavors marry together. You know, I find when you're making sauce, if you prepare it ahead of time so that you let it cook and simmer on the stove for quite a while, let all the flavors marry together, you get a better sauce. And it's all about putting different things into your sauce. You know, some people like one thing, some people like another. Some people don't like mushrooms, other people like mushrooms. So I've already taken the liberty of washing these mushrooms up before we prepare them. So we're just going to chop them up now. Now mushrooms are kind of tricky. I always like to take the end off. I don't know. It's just me. And same with mushrooms. When I'm chopping a mushroom, I like to go to the flat side right away. Then once you got a flat side, you can just hard slice, you know, big slice that mushroom right up. You know, it's so easy. How do I say? It's easy peasy. So.
Now, you said something before the show there. You said something, people down south might take offense to your accent.
Well, you know, everybody knows that Tommy Bob is Tommy Bob. So, you know, if you take offense to my accent, that's too bad because it's just Tommy Bob, you know. We're just having fun here, and we're going to teach you how to make a great dinner. And you know, I got to tell you guys, there's nothing sexier to a woman than a man that knows how to cook. So we're going to stir that beef up over there. Brian, did you check that beef? You should take it like
actually, I just did a few minutes ago.
Something to stir it around a little bit.
Okay.
Okay? Hold on here. I'm going to have to put some glasses on. You know, Tommy Bob's eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Well, the other week I was walking down the mall with my son. And, you know, we're walking along and I saw what I thought was a good-looking lady up ahead with some long hair. And I said, geez, look at that one there, Tyler. She's a beauty. And he said, Dad, that's a dude. And I said, I guess I better get my eyes checked. So, you know.
Tommy, I suggest you keep your mind on the show.
Well, you know.
So what are you putting on this?
I'm putting a little garlic plus, I call it. It's a spice made by Clubhouse. Just adds a little flavor to it. You know, you can take your crushed garlic and add it to it. We are going to add some crushed garlic to the sauce.
Is there, what do you put, just a couple of sprinkles? Or
I just shook some in. I shook some in, and you're going to put some of these oregano leaves in there as well.
So the garlic plus would be a personal preference, right? Because some people don't like garlic.
Some people don't like garlic. You got that. But I got to tell you, if you're making spaghetti sauce and you don't like garlic, that's too bad for you. Because I got to say.
So we've got garlic. Now, what are we putting in here?
A little Parmesan shake.
Parmesan,
it's just a
okay.
Parmesan shake.
What does that do for that?
It just flavors. It adds flavor.
Yeah.
Everything that adds flavor to your sauce.
Okay.
Can you just take that screen off of there for a second?
Certainly.
Yeah, we're going to put a little bit of that in there. There we go.
Okay.
So could you stir that
Certainly.
that pot up too, please?
Okay.
Okay, Brian's doing a really good job at being my sous chef today, I got to say. He's learning as he goes, too. So next time we do the next show, you know, Brian will start taking the lead a little bit because he's learning how to cook just as you are. So Tommy Bob, you know, I got to say I learned how to cook from my mom. She was a good cook, and she was always cooking meals. And she always said, you know, you better learn how to cook, because you can never know what's going to happen to you, so you better know how to cook your food. So I learned how to cook my food. So here we go. How's that sauce looking, Brian?
It looks really good. Did your mama teach you how to do this?
My mama taught me how to do this. Now this beef is browning up really nice. And thank to goodness We haven't got any of that greasy drip all over that beautiful stove. Now, some people like electric heat, some people like gas heat. I like them both. I think gas heat is the truer heat, but electric is just as convenient.
Now, Tom, the sauce with the mushrooms and the peppers, what did you put this at? A medium?
Could you add just maybe a little cup of water to that?
Okay, so it's a little bit thick?
It's a little thick for me.
Now, let's just put on a medium heat?
That's on a medium heat. That would be great.
Okay, so this is going to be a little tricky for me. When you say a cup of water, that's a lot of water.
That's not a lot of water.
That's a whole cup. You want to put a whole cup of water in there?
Well, do you look at that? How is that going to cook? You barely got anything to cook it in.
Okay.
Don't worry.
So put 1 cup of water in
Yeah,
there.
you put that right in there. Add that right in there. Perfect. Okay. Now stir that around. There we go. That's looking better. Because don't forget, all of this is going in there. So that's going to be nice and thick. Okay, sorry, we're just having a little discussion here. So, next I was looking for a garlic crusher. Brian, do you have
yes,
a garlic
I do.
a garlic press, I like to call them? Oh, thank you. This is a garlic press. This is for crushing your garlic.
Now, when someone told me that the old shell, I guess, is that you take the garlic and you rub it between your hands like this. I saw this on the internet when remember I was telling you I did a little resource before we started this, and what it does is it loosens up the fabric around the garlic.
That is why we call him Pepe LeBron. Because he is not just a pretty face, ladies and gentlemen. He has some skills. Okay, now we're going to crush this garlic right into the sauce. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Now, sometimes it won't just come clean. You just take a knife. And trim it off. And then just push the rest back in. Because, you want her to be garlicky. Oh, yeah, that's good. Can I see that knife for a second there, Brian? Okay. All right. I would say our spaghetti sauce is now ready to simmer and cook and boil and just get all those flavors married together. We're just about ready with the hamburger to add it in. Oh, that's coming along nice, Brian. Okay. Another couple minutes, we'll add that hamburger. We're going to take that hamburger. We're going to drain. When you're cooking hamburger, there's always a little bit of grease that comes off it. You don't want that grease to go into your sauce. So you drain that off. We like to drain it off into like a tin can. You don't want to drain that, pour that down your sink. Because if you pour that down your sink, chances are you're going to clog up your sink because it'll harden in your drain somewhere. So don't pour it down your sink is all I'm saying. Okay? We'll show you how we're going to pour this off in a second. And once we're done that and we add that hamburger to the sauce, we're going to get on with making our Caesar salad dressing. And that'll be interesting as well. Okay? So, we're just here now. We're right about ready. The hamburger's just browned on both sides there, Brian. See that? It's real nice. So we're going to take a lid. And we're just going to... Boy, this is really nice beef we picked, Brian, because there's not a lot of... Yeah, that's all right. It'll cook up in the spaghetti, Brian.
Yeah, so I noticed that there was that it was brown on both sides, but there was a couple little pieces there that weren't quite brown. And Tommy Bob is saying that once it goes in the...
You're going to boil it anyways. Everything's been boiled and cooked and broiled. So we're just going to pour off this little bit of grease. Do you have a grease can that you have?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. There we go. We're going to use this.
I can do that, Tommy Bob.
Okay, you be careful now. Okay, everybody. I've done some prep ahead of time. I'm going to show you what I did. I'm going to bring in Brian to help me out with that. Okay, so we've drained the grease off. We put it into our sauce. Our sauce is now cooking and doing really well. We've also got our water on the stove for our noodles. Okay, so now we're going to take a little bit of time. We're going to make our own salad dressing. And when we make our own salad dressing, we're going to need half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, a tablespoon of vinegar. We're going to need some personal preference, anchovy paste or no anchovy paste. It's up to you. I like anchovy paste. It gives it flavor. Garlic press. You're going to need 2 cloves of garlic, maybe 3, to your own personal preference. You add the virgin olive oil. You add the 1 tablespoon of vinegar. You add a couple of dollops of anchovy paste. You add 2 cloves of garlic. You stir it all up together. Add a little Parmesan of cheese in there. It looks something like this. Stir it before you put it on your leaves. It'll be delicious. Okay, I'm going to show you. I've purposely left out an egg because you're going to put an egg in this, but you're only going to use a yolk. So how I do that is I crack that egg and I let that egg white just roll off, right? Normally it goes a little smoother than this. So,
well, that don't look like it's easy to do, Tommy.
Well, you know, it takes a skill, but not much of one, really. Just use the bigger part of the shell and it drains off real nice. And now that goes right into your salad dressing, okay? But we're not going to put it in there because we've already put our salad dressing together. All right? So now we're going to move on. Now, we've also taken the liberty of washing up the leaves and getting that all prepped because in time to save time. So we've washed these leaves up. I'm going to show you what I do now is I dry them like this with a paper towel, right? So they're dried up. So they're not wet. Because we don't want them to be wet because the sauce won't stick to the leaves. And it'll just make it soggy. Now I rip my leaves. Some people cut them. I find them it's more authentic Caesar salad if you rip those leaves. So we're going to rip those leaves. We dried it up. We're going to put it in. Now, we got the leaves in there. We're going to add to those leaves. We're going to add croutons. You're only as good as your croutons in this, so buy good croutons. You can make your own simply by taking bread, toasting it up in the oven, waiting for it to dry, then cutting it up and putting it in. But I just like to use good croutons as our store-bought. It's pretty easy.
Tell me, Bob, is it personal preference as to how many you put in?
That's up to you. Yeah. I like lots of croutons in my salad. Now we use bacon bits. And how you make bacon bits, you can buy them at the store, simulated bacon bits, or you can make your own. And you just fry up some bacon, let it cool till it's hard, because you really cook your bacon good. And, well, if you overcook your bacon a little bit, that's good too, because then it just crumbles. You can just take a knife and chop it up fine and put it into your Caesar salad. So now let me recap. You've got bacon bits, you got croutons, you got a little Parmesan of cheese, you got some Romaine lettuce, and you got your
the
homemade salad dressing.
The Parmesan cheese?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that.
Well, we just use the shake. We can buy fresh Parmesan cheese and grind it in, or you can just buy the shaker stuff.
Is that grinder like this?
It is, but just for the heck of it, we and the speed of it, we used a very good product Clubhouse puts out it has Parmesan in it. Now Brian's searching for that machine, that little tool. I know what he's looking for. It's a grinder for grinding Parmesan cheese. And we didn't do it this time. Yeah, it looks like this. Okay? So you put your Parmesan cheese in there and you grind, bam, 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 and out it comes. And there you go. But we've done this. So there's the secret. So now,
you can use a regular grater, eh?
So now, the other thing we can do with the leaves, if you're drying the leaves off and you're in a hurry, you can take a salad spinner. Just put the leaves in there, spin it, boom, 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 boom. Takes the water off. Same thing. Okay? So now, let's talk about the garlic. So, your garlic bread is only as good as the bread you're using. So, I use an Ace Baker loaf, but if I don't have that, I use a calabrese bun. So all I've done today is I've halved these calabrese buns, and I've taken made some homemade garlic butter. How I do that is I just take the butter and I make it soft and spreadable, and then I just add garlic to it and I stir that up so that it's really well stirred, and then I spread it on my buns, and there's my buns there. They're ready to go into the oven. We're going to do them last because we put them on broil, and when I put them on broil, we got to watch them because it doesn't take very long on broil before they cook. Okay, they're going to be crispy garlic bread. They're going to be delicious. We got our sauce on the stove. We got our noodle water just about ready. We got our Caesar salad ready to go. Give us 5 more minutes. We'll be sitting at the table eating a nice spaghetti dinner that we prepared ourselves.
I've got a question.
Good.
That noodle water, what temperature do you keep that noodle water at?
Well, you know, to get it, you bring it to a boil. Once you bring it to a boil, you put your noodles into it, and you know, don't worry if your noodles hang over the side because they're going to get soft and they're just going to fall into that pot.
So you break the noodles because it's a small pot?
No. You know, it looks like a small pot, but you can hang your noodles at the side, and what happens is those noodles will get soft, and they'll just eventually just go right down into the pot.
Show us at some point.
I don't know about you, but I don't like those short noodles. I like the long noodles. And that's what we're having with our spaghetti dinner is long noodles today.
All right.
Okay. So we've got everything ready to go. Brian, could you find the noodles for us, please?
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to show people what kind of noodles we're going to be using. And while Brian's fishing around for that spaghetti, there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to show you, because you can cook yourself an awful mess of noodles and not really realize that you're cooking them. Okay. This right here is a good single serving.
So that's what, if I look at the end of that, that's about the size of a quarter?
I'd say so. Yeah, the size of a quarter, maybe the size of a loony, depending on your appetite. You know, 2.
So if you have 4 people?
If you have 4 people, you'd have 4 of those. Okay?
Which is about 4
You know,
right?
if you spread this out, it looks like that. It doesn't look like a lot of spaghetti, but believe you me, when you put it in the water and it boils down, it's a lot of spaghetti. So we're going to put that in the water because we've been bringing our water to a boil as we've been talking. So, Tommy Bob, it's just because I know a little bit, I'm just going to do this. Now, here's a little secret. If you don't want your noodles to stick together, add a little extra virgin olive oil into your water. Okay? Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And make sure that when you put your noodles in, you fan them out a little bit. Separate them out. Now, they'll boil down. Don't be alarmed if they're hanging out of the pot a little bit. You just keep an eye on them. They'll boil down. Brian, could you turn that oven on to broil so that we can get this garlic bread in here and get that rocking? Okay. So, we're ready to go here, honestly. Can you move that? Yes, take that out and move that shelf up to the top space.
All right, so
Please.
what we'll do, just to explain here.
Yeah, just like that.
So what you're trying to do here, Tommy Bob, is get that top shelf very close to the grill, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I want.
Let me take this camera and just so the folks know what we're talking about.
I want that top shelf up close to the element up top. And when we put it on broil, we're gonna cook these buns just on the top, not all the way to the bottom. Okay? So we're just gonna heat this oven up now, and once it heats up, we'll get our garlic bread in to go. Our noodles should be done in maybe, I'm gonna give them 15 minutes on the temperature I've got them on. I like to say when the noodles are al dente, which means, you take a noodle and you can twirl it around a fork and you chew on it and it's not hard, it's soft, okay? You don't want it too soft, so that it's like really soft, but you want it al dente. That's what I call al dente. Okay, so we're really ready to go. Brian, if you could just maybe get the plates together, and we'll even show them how to set up the table.
Okay.
You know, because we're just waiting now. Now we're going to just set a quick table. Now the thing about this is, you know, I know there's people out there that make their spaghetti from scratch, and normally Tommy Bob likes to do that when I've got a lot of time. But you know, if you know your sweetie pie is coming home at a certain time, and you want to surprise her, this would be a great surprise, and she will really like it. So I'm just going to recap while Brian's getting everything ready. We made the sauce. The sauce was out of a tomato sauce. We added hamburger to it. We added peppers to it. We added onions to it. We added mushrooms to it. We added a bunch of spices, which I explained, and will be in the recipe, which we will supply on our new Facebook page, Tommy Bob and Brian Cooking Show. So we've got that. We've got the noodles going on here. We've got the sauce ready to go. We've got the Caesar salad is all ready and ready and prepped. We've got that ready to go on the table. We've got our garlic bread ready, and it's going to go in the oven here very shortly as soon as the oven heats up to broil. So now we're going to start doing a little bit of what I call preemptive cleanup so that we don't have a big mess. You know, when you're done your dinner and you're full like a... You're sitting there and your belly's a little swollen and you're feeling pretty darn good, saying, whoa, that was a great feed. Well, you don't much feel like cleaning up the kitchen afterwards, you know, unless you have like a good sous chef around, like Pepe the Bride. Well, you end up doing it yourself. So I like to say, let's just start to put things away so that the job doesn't become one person's job, it becomes everybody's job. That's the best kind of cooking. You know, there's nothing like cooking a meal for your sweetheart. But the worst thing you can do cook a meal for your sweetheart and then leave her the dishes. That's no flavor. So anyway, we're setting up the table. We have what we have. Noodles are almost done. We're just waiting for them to soften up a little bit. Is that oven?
Yep, she's all fired up.
She's ready to go, right? Okay. Now normally, you would just put these on the cookie sheet, but Tommy Bob, he likes to just put them on the grill. It's not going to hurt. It's just a little trickier to get out of the oven when you're done.
Just a sec there, Tommy Bob. I'm going to just take a piece of that. That's good. That's real good. Okay.
There now. They're in underneath the broil. You got to keep an eye on that, because before you know it, they're cooked up and they'll be blacker and black, and it won't be good.
So
okay?
I can put the timer on here.
I wouldn't even put the timer on. The timer is best to watch with your eyes.
Okay.
Because it's hard to tell how long that's going to take.
Gotcha.
But you just got to keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Like I said. I need a fork, Tommy Bob. Brian. Tommy Bob, what the heck am I thinking? I'm Tommy Bob. Okay. See, the noodles are getting nice and al dente now. So these noodles are just about perfect for eating. Now we're going to take those noodles and we're going to strain the water off of them. Okay? Now some people rinse their noodles and they say that it rinses the starch off them. Tommy Bob doesn't like to rinse the noodles. The reason you don't rinse your noodles is because if you rinse your noodles, your sauce won't stick to your pasta. Without rinsing it, it gives them a sticky texture and it allows your sauce to stick better to your pasta. Just a little hint, just a little idea that Tommy Bob has. I have a little couple of those little tricks rolled up my sleeve. So, I think we're ready, Brian.
Now, someone once told me if you go in and grab the spaghetti noodle, and what do you call it when it's ready? It's
Al
called
dente.
Al dente.
So
you give it a fling or something?
Yeah, well, you know, nobody wants to be flinging spaghetti at a wall. Okay? So, you know, I guess that's, some people do that. I hear over in Greece they break dishes all the time. Tommy Bob's not like that.
So how should it look?
I would say, there you go. Our noodles are ready to go.
I see.
They're nice.
They look like hair when it's hanging.
Yeah, they did. They're soft. There's no crunch to them, right? Okay, so we're ready to go. So we're going to cut tape and we're going to get everything ready and served up, and we'll end the show off with a nice dinner for two. Because today, Tommy Bob and Pepe LeBrian, well, we were cooking for ourselves today. Linda's not home for the weekend, so we just decided we're going to cook a dinner and we're going to eat it ourselves. So that's what we're going to do. Thanks for tuning in to the Tommy Bob and Brian show. We'll show you a quick picture of the table all set up and ready to go when we're finished. This is the first of a few that's coming along. The next one, we're going to teach you how to make stuffed chicken breast. I never said I was the neatest cook. Got our sauce right here. That's what we're going to do. Okay. Oh my goodness, look at this. Brian, we did a great job. Looks delicious, Brian. That doesn't look delicious. Hey? Keep that dressing in there. There you go. Tommy Bob and Brian. Easy peasy Italian dinner for two. Garlic bread, Caesar salad, and spaghetti. How long did that take? Less than an hour. Delicious. Tommy Bob, check it out. Brian.